Welcome to this explainer. Today, I'm putting on my QA manager hat because we're tackling the core trio of pharmaceutical compliance terms that routinely trigger audit observations when they get mixed up. If you've ever had to investigate a deviation or you stared down an auditor asking for your documentation, well, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're looking at qualification, validation, and calibration. Okay, let's dive into this and clear up the confusion once and for all.
So, honestly, which of these terms do you find most confusing? If you're hesitating right now, you are definitely not alone. Across the entire industry, shop floor staff, and even seasoned managers frequently struggle to separate these terms. They constantly get thrown around interchangeably in meetings, or they're hastily written into a messy, copy-paste SOP. But in the world of pharma, words have very specific meanings. So, before we really break them down, just take a mental note of where your own uncertainties lie.
Look, mixing these terms up, it's not just some academic error or a minor typo. It directly impacts your good manufacturing practices. If you use the wrong framework for a piece of equipment versus an actual process, you are actively inviting audit observations. Understanding these terms is absolutely vital for maintaining compliance, ensuring product quality, and honestly, saving your entire team from massive headaches during an inspection.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the compliance confusion, then untangle qualification for equipment, validation for processes, and calibration for instruments. Finally, we'll put them all side by side and look at the real-world impact. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The compliance confusion. When these terms start to blend together on the floor, missing steps happen. An operator might calibrate a scale, but incorrectly think they've validated the entire weighing process. That kind of confusion leads directly to costly deviations. Clarity here is exactly what builds trust in your processes and ultimately your data.
Moving right along to Section 2, qualification. And here, we're talking exclusively about the equipment. We're narrowing our focus entirely down to the physical hardware, the machinery and the systems physically standing on your manufacturing floor.
Qualification is simply the process of proving that equipment or a system is installed and working correctly. Notice those key words: equipment, installed, and working. You don't qualify a process, you qualify the physical asset. Before you can ever hope to make a good product, you have to prove that the shiny new machine you just bought was put together right and actually turns on exactly the way the manufacturer said it would.
Qualification is actually the only term of our big three that's structured with specific chronological subcategories. You start with DQ, design qualification. Basically, is it designed right for our needs? Then IQ, installation qualification. Is it plugged in and piped correctly? Next is OQ, operational qualification. Does it run at the extremes of its limits without completely breaking? And finally, PQ, performance qualification. Does it perform under real, day-to-day working conditions? It is a very deliberate, step-by-step physical check.
If you're training news staff or maybe simplifying your shop floor documents, this is the real-life, simple understanding you need to hammer home. The machine is working properly. That is qualification in a nutshell. If you're checking whether a mixing tank operates as per its mechanical requirements, you are qualifying it. It is strictly about the machine itself. Section 3. Validation. And here we're talking about the process. We've got our machines working perfectly, so now we shift our focus entirely to the overarching workflow.
Validation is the process of proving that a process consistently produces expected results. The absolutely crucial word here is consistently. We aren't looking at the hardware anymore. We're looking at the recipe, the workflow, the entire sequence of events. Process validation ensures that whether it's batch number 1 or batch number 1000, every single batch meets those strict quality standards. It's all about proving repeatability and reliability over time.
To really ground this concept, here's your simple, real-life translation. The process gives the correct output. While qualification checked the physical mixer, validation proves that mixing ingredient A and ingredient B at a specific speed for exactly 20 minutes will always result in a perfectly blended tablet matrix. The machine is qualified, the mixing process is validated. See the difference?
Section 4. Calibration. Now we're zooming in on the instrument. This is all about the specific sensors that measure our critical processes. Because let's face it, you can't trust your validation if you can't trust your measurements.
Calibration is the highly specific process of comparing an instrument with a standard reference to ensure accuracy. For example, if you're checking a weighing balance, you place a certified standard weight right on it. If you put a known 1 kilogram standard weight on that balance, it better read exactly 1.000 kilograms. You are bringing your instrument into alignment with an undeniable truth, a recognized standard reference.
And here's the simplest way to remember it. The measurement is accurate. That's the whole shebang. Calibration is entirely about securing accurate data. It has nothing to do with the overall process flow. And it's not about how the machine was installed. It's strictly asking, is this thermometer telling me the true temperature? Is this pressure gauge giving me the exact PSI?
All right, Section 5, Side-by-Side Comparison. Let's bring all three of these concepts together to highlight their distinct boundaries and clear this up for good.
I highly recommend grabbing a quick screenshot of this slide. To summarize it all, qualification targets the equipment to ensure proper working. Validation targets the process to ensure consistent results, and calibration targets the instrument to ensure correct measurement. They are three completely distinct tools in your QA toolbox. You literally cannot substitute one for the other.
Which brings us to Section 6, the real-world impact. What actually happens when we don't master these distinctions on the manufacturing floor? Well, let's look at the consequences. No qualification means no reliable equipment. If you don't know the machine was installed right, everything you do with it is a gamble.
No calibration means no accurate data. If an auditor sees uncalibrated instruments, they have absolutely nothing to trust. The data is meaningless.
No validation means no consistent product. Without it, you're just getting lucky. And luck is definitely not a strategy in pharma.
If you're looking at your current systems right now and seeing some gaps, please know that help is out there. Supporting pharma teams through these exact hurdles is incredibly important work, whether it's cleaning up qualification and validation documentation, doing actual SOP preparation and correction so operators aren't stuck with confusing copy-pasted procedures, or providing comprehensive GMP, GDP, and data integrity training for your shop floor staff. Proper audit readiness support means having a colleague objectively review these systems before the regulators do.
Which brings us to our final thought. Are you completely confident your facility can perfectly distinguish these three in your next audit? If an inspector asks an operator today to explain the difference between what they're calibrating versus what QA is validating, what would they say? Share these definitions with your team and proactively review your compliance practices. Stay focused, stay compliant, and keep learning.